When Aryna Sabalenka steps onto a tennis court, the atmosphere changes instantly. There is a visceral, thunderous crack every time her racket connects with the ball, a sound so distinct and heavy that it echoes through stadiums long before the crowd has time to react. Marked by the roaring tiger tattooed on her left forearm, Sabalenka does not simply play tennis. She imposes a violent, athletic storm upon the court. She grunts with fierce intent, pummels forehands at speeds that routinely rival the men's draw, and stalks the baseline with an unrelenting energy that leaves opponents feeling perpetually suffocated. Yet, the moment the final point is won, the intimidating warrior vanishes. In her place stands a warm, goofy, and deeply magnetic individual whose boisterous laughter fills locker rooms across the globe. This fascinating duality makes Sabalenka one of the most compelling figures in modern sports. When 9 of her fellow WTA players were asked to share their honest, candid thoughts about what it is truly like to face, navigate, and coexist with Sabalenka, their responses painted a vivid mosaic of respect, tactical awe, intimidation, and genuine affection. To understand Sabalenka from an opponent's perspective, one must first understand the sheer physical weight of her game. For those standing on the opposite side of the net, playing against her is less about executing a subtle game plan and more about surviving an intense bombardment. Elena Rybakina, herself one of the most powerful ball strikers in the women's game, spoke with quiet, analytical reverence about Sabalenka's ball speed. Rybakina noted that while many players hit hard, Sabalenka's shot weight feels uniquely heavy. When Sabalenka is locked in, time on the court evaporates. Opponents find themselves forced into split-second reactions rather than calculated decision-making. Rybakina observed that playing Sabalenka requires a mindset shift. You cannot simply defend or wait for an error. You have to accept that she will hit winners past you and stay calm while standing in the middle of a strike zone. Coco Gauff approached the question from the standpoint of athletic defense and strategic counterpunching. Gauff highlighted how Sabalenka's power forces a defender to cover twice as much ground as usual. It is not just that Sabalenka hits wide into the corners. She hits so deep into the baseline that recovery becomes an exhausting, uphill sprint. Gauff reflected on how Sabalenka's relentless aggression tests an opponent's physical stamina and tactical discipline, pushing anyone across the net to run until their legs burn while knowing that a single short ball will be mercilessly punished. Adding to this perspective, Zheng Qinwen spoke about the sheer psychological wall Sabalenka presents early in a match. Zheng described the experience of standing at the baseline during Sabalenka's service games as an intense test of nerve. The ball arrives with such pace and heavy topspin that simply neutralizing the return feels like a triumph. For younger players ascending the ranks, Zheng noted, Sabalenka represents the ultimate benchmark for modern power tennis, a player who forces you to elevate every aspect of your game just to stay competitive. Beyond her raw strength, Sabalenka's transformation into a multi-Grand Slam champion and world number 1 required a dramatic mental evolution. Her peers have watched this journey up close, and their observations reflect deep admiration for her emotional growth. Iga Swiatek, Sabalenka's primary rival at the summit of women's tennis, offered a thoughtful assessment rooted in their contrasting styles. Swiatek spoke of the intense focus Sabalenka now brings to every single point. In earlier years, Sabalenka's game was a high-risk gamble that could occasionally unravel under pressure. Swiatek noted how much respect she has for the way Sabalenka conquered her infamous serving struggles and harnessed her raw aggression into a controlled, repeatable weapon. For Swiatek, facing Sabalenka is a mental chess match played at breakneck speed, a test of whether clinical precision and court coverage can withstand untamed power and emotional momentum. Jessica Pegula brought a pragmatic, grounded viewpoint to the conversation. Pegula pointed out that Sabalenka's greatest asset in recent years has been her consistency in high-stakes moments. It is one thing to hit opponents off the court on a sunny afternoon in an early-round match. It is quite another to maintain that hyper-aggressive baseline tennis on break points in a Grand Slam final. Pegula emphasized that Sabalenka's willingness to stay committed to her aggressive style, even when her nerves are jangling, is what separates her from the rest of the tour. Naomi Osaka, a fellow major champion who understands the extreme pressure of the sport's biggest stages, focused on Sabalenka's relentless self-belief. Osaka noted that Sabalenka plays without hesitation, a rare trait even among elite athletes. When the court shrinks and the tension rises, Sabalenka does not pull her punches or play safe. She swings harder. Osaka expressed deep respect for that uncompromising competitive spirit, acknowledging that it takes immense courage to live and die by your own power when everything is on the line. If her competitors view her on-court presence with intense respect, their description of Sabalenka off the court reveals why she is so widely beloved by her peers. In a sport often defined by intense isolation and guarded personal boundaries, Sabalenka stands out as an open, joyful presence. Paula Badosa, one of Sabalenka's closest friends on tour, offered a deeply intimate portrayal of her personality. Badosa highlighted the startling contrast between the ferocious tiger on the court and the gentle, hilariously funny person behind closed doors. Badosa shared how Sabalenka's empathy and loyalty shine through during difficult times, noting that behind the loud grunts and terrifying forehands is a person who genuinely cares for those around her. For Badosa, Sabalenka's ability to leave her competitive hostility at the court gate makes her a unique anchor in a high-pressure environment. Ons Jabeur, known as the warm heart of the WTA locker room, celebrated Sabalenka's uninhibited, playful nature. Jabeur described Sabalenka as someone who brings light and energy into every room she enters. Whether she is starting spontaneous dance clips for social media, cracking self-deprecating jokes, or teasing her team. Jabeur noted that Sabalenka's complete lack of pretension is refreshing. She does not wear a celebrity mask or hide behind her accolades, remaining entirely authentic regardless of her ranking. Victoria Azarenka, a fellow Belarusian veteran who has watched Sabalenka grow from an ambitious teenager into a dominant champion, reflected on her personal journey. Azarenka spoke with pride about Sabalenka's resilience in navigating personal tragedies, intense public scrutiny, and immense expectation. Azarenka emphasized that Sabalenka's growth as a human being has been just as impressive as her development as an athlete, admiring how she has maintained her genuine warmth and humor while enduring the heavy burdens that come with global stardom. When listening to these 9 competitors describe Aryna Sabalenka, a remarkably clear picture emerges. She is not merely a world-class athlete with an explosive serve and a terrifying forehand. She is a dynamic force who has redefined what it means to be a modern champion. On the court, she demands every ounce of focus, physical strength, and mental fortitude from anyone brave enough to stand across from her. Off the court, she dismantles the traditional stoicism of elite tennis with her infectious joy, warmth, and unfiltered authenticity. In a sport that often demands detachment, Sabalenka proves that one can be an absolute warrior in battle while remaining thoroughly, wonderfully human everywhere else.